Hello and welcome. This is Forsaken Parents Today on YouTube with Lisa Logan and myself, life coach Lee Evans. You're probably wondering what Forsaken Parents means. Well, it's a new phenomenon that is growing larger and larger, and it needs to end. Well, I'm here with Lisa, and we have something that uh, we wanted to read in the beginning of our YouTube broadcast. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. And Lisa is going to stop me when she wants to make a comment.
Instead of just yelling
Yes.
at Lee, I get to, and just in case I remember something I want to say, that's
Yeah, make
sweet.
sure to
Lee
stop.
did that so that I could.
So here we go. Please give me a moment to say something that you may not want to hear, but is something that may heal the now painful relationship you have with your adult child and their spouse, and those you care about more than anyone else. Yes, your grandchildren. Unless you're an adult child and their spouse are physically abusive to their children, your goal in being a part of your family is to help your adult child and their spouse to be better parents. Your goal is not to raise their children because you think you are a better parent than they are. Actually, you may be a better parent than they are, but that isn't actually what is important to your grandchildren. As a psychotherapist who has been in practice for years and years, and I'm talking about Lisa here, I have never had one person who is seeking help come into my office and say, my grandmother doesn't love me enough and it hurts. No, Lisa says I have never ever had any one person say that to me. But what many prospective clients have said is the following: my mother doesn't love me and it hurts me terribly. Can you help me? And they say this about their mother or father: because it goes along with their chemical makeup, they can't help themselves. It's the way they are made. And if you love your grandchildren, then you will understand the following: you are in your grandchildren's lives for one purpose. You are in your grandchildren's lives to help their parents be better parents. You are not in their lives to take their parents' places. The relationship your grandchildren have with their mother and father determines everything about their future. Did you want to add something, Lisa?
Oh, I will.
Okay. Okay, so it determines everything about their future, whether they will fall in love themselves, whether they will be happy, whether they will be successful, and everything else that will give them the happiness they deserve. I say this to you, it is the truth, and there is nothing you can do to change it. So please accept the gift of importance you have been given in their life and stop trying to take their parents' place. Instead, help their parents be better parents. Now, welcome to Forsaken Parents, men and women who live with a hurt that is worse than anything else they will ever have in their lives. I will do everything I can, and this is Lisa speaking to you. I will do everything I can to give you the help you need in order to return to your family. I understand parental estrangement. I have lived with it.
Yes,
Signed, Lisa.
I did. I didn't say signed Lisa. Okay. Hi, everybody. Uh, I'm Lisa Logan, and that is not my actual name. I have to remember to say that every few. It's my pseudonym, and there's a reason that I'm using a pseudonym. But but suffice it to say, it doesn't keep me from doing what I can do well. I've been a therapist for years and years and years and years. But listen, I want to tell you how I came upon the knowledge that the best person to raise children in a family is the father and the mother, the father or the father and the mother, period. And I know I come across so many grandparents who want to raise their grandchildren and feel that they would do a much better job doing it. And you know what? You may do a better job. Let me tell you about my own, but that doesn't mean that that's what your grandchild needs. So, isn't the title of this 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 YouTube video, this is going to be, say it again, Lee.
It's figure out who it is that has caused this rejection.
Oh, I'm going off topic. I'm going to do it anyway because I started. Try to get me back on topic, will you? Because
Okay.
I think I ought to say something about that. But this is important too. Look, my daughter wasn't a bad mother by any stretch of the imagination. She was a good mother. But she was having a hard time with her youngest child, who was, this is what I want you to know, who was not a bad child, but this child couldn't get enough attention. It wasn't there for them. And if a child doesn't get enough attention, they will do anything they can to get attention. And what that means is that negative attention to them, negative attention is better than no attention. Let's look up there. Do you know that? I want the, you may not understand that. And it breaks my heart when I'm at the mall, wherever I am, I see one kid in the family acting out, and it's usually the younger child. And I want to go to that parent. I have done it many times, and they don't appreciate it. I don't understand why. Lee, look at my ring.
It's gorgeous.
I told you that's about 25 carats, don't you think? It's
Yes,
not real, folks. Anyway, I told Lee when we went on that I'd show her my ring. This is my pearl. That's pretty.
yes, it is.
Okay, that's enough. Showing off my hands. Anyway, I go to parents when I see what's going on, and I'll say, look, you don't have a bad child. This is not a bad child. This is a child getting attention any way they can. And if you'll just start giving them lots of attention, positive, they'll stop this negative stuff they're doing. And some of them appreciate it. And I say, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. I know what I'm talking about. Some of them appreciate it. Some of them wish I'd drop dead. But it's okay. I can't help myself. And I can't help myself that I want to tell you this too. It happened in my own life. My daughter was pushing my, her, haha. Took me a while to get there. Her youngest child away from her. She'd say, get away. Just get away. Go find something to do. Okay. It broke my heart to hear her talking that, but I also knew why she was doing that. She'd come through a terrible life experience, and she simply didn't want to be around that little boy's, his intense energy. So I thought, I've got to do something. I talked to her and I said, listen to me, honey. Honey, listen, I'm not trying to interfere, but the way you're treating him is going to have an effect on the rest of his life. It's not going to be good for him. Please, he needs your love. She looked at me and said, mind your own business. Do you understand that? And I knew, absolutely knew that I was, uh, the possibility of me no longer being in a family, my own family, was staring me right in the face right then. I said, okay. And I was not wanted with that. But my grandson needed me. So the next time he was mistreated, I followed him into his bedroom and I said, listen to me. Listen to me. I have some things I want to tell you. He said, Grandma, Grandma, it hurts so bad. And I said, honey, I know that it hurts. Believe me, I know. You are such a special child. I don't want you to be treated that way, baby, but your mommy actually loves you very much. She's just having a hard time right now. And he said, she doesn't love me. And I said, oh, honey, who wouldn't love a little boy like you? You are the most special person I have ever known. I adore you. I can't believe how wonderful you are. And he said, Grandma, you're just supposed to say that. And I said, no, baby doll, I would never lie to you about something like this. You are a very special child. Okay. And I meant it. And I followed him into his bedroom many times. My hunch is, in honesty, that when I followed him in there, and my daughter and my son-in-law were standing at the door quietly to hear what I was saying to him. It was okay. I wasn't saying anything at all. I wasn't putting my daughter down. This cat, I don't want him to feel rejected. Anyway, but because I've got a dog now. Anyway, I didn't want my grandson to be hurt. At the same time, I didn't want to hurt the relationship that was hurting already, but hurt what was happening to him with his mother. So important because she and her husband, his father, were determining how he was going to turn out. And I saw my job right then as a person who could come into the family and help him with what he needed, which was love. And I did it, and I kept on saying, honey, you're going to be surprised. Someday soon, your mommy's going to be so glad to see you. She's going to be so happy. And but for right then, he was quote unquote my child. I got to be good to him. And it, you know, it was the first time for real in a long time that I got to be a grandmother. I loved it, but I also knew that it didn't mean that it would always be that way because who he really needed was his mother and father. He needed what I was giving him for right then, but who he really needed was his mother and father. And I want to tell you, it's Thanksgiving. Next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, is Thanksgiving. And I was at the family gathering for Thanksgiving several years ago, and it happened. And I saw it. My grandson was sitting across the table from me, looking at his mommy, and his mommy was looking back at him. She was glowing with love for him. And I went, it's happened. It's happened. He found his mother, and she found him. And it was all I wanted for him. Unselfishly, it's what I wanted. Now, I would be lying to you if I didn't say it hurt also that my grandson had left me. He was gone. And he didn't know how to handle it because I was there watching him. So he never looked at me all the way through the meal. He was afraid and he didn't want to hurt me. But at the same time, who he really needed and had needed all the way along was his mother, and I had given him the gift of survival and lasting love, because what could have happened during that time is he could have started being a bad child, and he could have not come out of that. Instead, he had grandma who loved him and took everybody else's place and told him how wonderful he was temporarily until his mom and dad could do it on their own. And that was my job to do right then. Sometimes I cry as I tell this story because I miss him. I miss him. But he gave me a gift. He loved me, and he let me be his grandma for a while. Yeah. But he didn't know how to fit me in with my daughter or his mother and his father. And it couldn't be done then. So anyway, Lee, are you there?
I am here.
What you think, honey?
Well, I was listening to you, and uh, I was trying to see if there was something in my life, and there was too, that was similar to that.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, because I don't think I could go through with a straight voice.
Okay.
I think
You
I'd
don't
get too
have to.
emotional.
You don't have to. It's okay.
But you brought it
Yeah.
back to mind, and
Well, this time I told it without really hurting a lot. I did hurt, you guys. I hurt. I loved my grandson like crazy. I love all my grandchildren. But it was a gift, and I was probably the only person in his life who could give that to him. I think so. And I did it, and I'm grateful. He may never know that I saved him. I don't think my grandma and my daughter is going to say, did you know that your grandmother saved? I don't think she's ever going to say that. And that's just the way it is. I accept that. But I know, and now Lee knows, and the rest of you know, I was a damn good grandmother right then. And I fit in and I saved my grandchild. How wonderful that I did that. I don't think anybody outside the family, and I'm the closest to his mother and father genetically. I think I was the only one that could have done that. And I'm so grateful that I did. And even if it's never known by him or anyone else in my family what I did, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I hear so many of you say, when my daughter or my son gets older, they're going to realize what they've done and they're going to be sorry. Well, I want to say to you that I don't know whether that's going to happen for you or not. It may not. And if it doesn't, you've got to trust spiritually that everything that's going on is happening for a reason. And when you get to the other side, you'll know what the reason has been. But there is a reason for it, and you're the only one. I can't, I wasn't able to say something like this back when, because I was hurting too badly. But I can say it now. My place in all of this has been extremely important. I have never been a bad mother. I'll never be a bad mother. I'm a good mother. I have letters from my best friends who couldn't believe what was going on. Actually, one of my very closest friends wrote an email the other day to me and said, "I can't believe what Dave's doing." That's my son-in-law. "I can't believe what he's doing in order to keep his little family to himself." And she knew Dave way before my daughter and my son-in-law got married. Now let me tell you why all of this is happening. Lee, how much time do I have, honey? Enough to do
Probably
this?
about, you have enough right now. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll talk fast. No, I won't. Uh, when Dave was 13 years old, his mom and dad drank. The reason I know this is because I asked his mom the last time I talked to her on the phone. I don't call his mom very often because every time I call her, whatever we talk about, she calls Dave right away and tells him what I've said. And each one of our conversations have been things that I just assumed Dave didn't know that I'm talking to her about. But I asked her during this conversation, uh, why does Dave call you and your husband by your first names? They're Harry and Hildegard. That's not really their name. But he calls them by their first name. And she said, you know, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, I thought you said something. She said, it started when he was 13. Lisa, we used to drink. Well, that's, I can hear, I'm kind of in an echo. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, she said, we used to drink. And I think we probably did drink too much. And Dave got angry with us and he punished us. And the way that he punished us was not to not call us mom and dad any longer, and instead to call us by our first names. Well, okay, but he still does it. And this is 30 years later. Enough is enough, Dave. But that's neither here nor there. He still calls them by their first name, and he probably will never stop. But I said, well, what was that like for you? She said, it's been horrible. It's been, I mean, he couldn't have done anything worse to us. She said, it's humiliating to all of our friends and family. She said, it's been the hardest thing of all. But what happened for Dave was that he was making a statement, and it's continued on with me, which is, I'm not important. Neither are his parents. We're discardable. He can discard us. And 3 weeks after my first child was born, I think I said this the last time, I was holding the baby on the couch and saying well, you can't see, I'm holding this baby right here, and saying, what an adorable child you are. I love you so much. And going on and on. And Dave walked up to me and said, I'll take him. I was shocked. He didn't say, do you mind? I'd like to go change his diapers or anything. He just said, I'll take him. So I handed him his son. He went into the next room. He left the door open. I could hear every word he was saying. And what he said was, you belong to your mother and me. You will never belong to anyone else but your mother and me because we love you. No one loves you like we love you. And on it went, his conversation with this newborn infant went on a little bit longer, but I thought, what a strange thing Dave's doing, talking like that to an infant. I know now, and I've known for a long time, Dave wasn't talking to his son. He was talking to me, and that was the way he could get it across, the way it was going to be. It's the way it's been. I didn't I didn't do it. But what you need to find out, and that's why I'm talking about this, you need to find out in your life who started this. I am so clear that Dave started this. I have no doubt at all. And my daughter, because he would say, what would happen if you did this? Your mother is this way, blah, 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 blah. And then she would pick it up and run with it. And if you remember those 6 things We read them last time, didn't we, Lee?
Yes, we did. The six
Yeah.
truths.
But, oh, the six truths, right. Well, they became her statements because she wanted to please him. So it's him who started it. Uh, and the way, my way of taking care of all this would be to let Dave know how important he is in my life. I'll tell you something. uh-uh, I've done that. He's a genius, first of all, and he doesn't want me. He doesn't. I'm not laughing because of that. I was just thinking about the impossibility of me doing what I'm suggesting that you do and what I've suggested that Lee do in her own family. And Lee's doing really well in her family, in her coming back together again with her family. I'm so happy. It would never work in my family. And I'm telling you that I've got it since he was 13. That's very young for him to have taken the stand that he has toward anyone else in his life other than his wife and his children. So it's just the way it is. Other people can be their friends and will be their friends and are their friends. But that's different. That's not threatening to Dave. And I am a threat to Dave. And I really am not. I love his, I love it. I love my kids. But that's the way it is. So that's with me. But I can help you. And so can Lee. So, Lee, I think I'm done. What do you think, honey?
Well, I think you might be, but it was awesome. It was good. It gave me some things to think about. So you said 2 points I want to ask about. You said you need to find out who in your life started this.
Right,
And once you do, you said for you it'd be let Dave know how important he is in my life. So I
uh-huh.
would take Dave out of there and substitute Dave for whoever it is in my life.
Right,
That I need to let them know how important they are in my
right.
life.
And
Okay.
that won't work. And what I was saying was, it won't work in my life. I've
Right.
already done it many times. It will not work. But that's because these are my children. These are not my clients. Big difference. Okay. So, yes, you all need to discover who it is that started it. And most of the time, it's going to be your adult child's spouse. Okay? Got
Yeah,
it, Lee?
I got it.
Yeah. And then you have to make a relationship with that person.
Okay.
And you have to come up with things. Do you have that list that I called you with when I called you about 10 times the other night?
No, it never did let me have that list.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. But I know that I wrote something down.
No,
I,
I called you. I had a
I,
message. Didn't you have about 10 messages?
well, I have to go back and check, but I didn't see 10 messages, but I'll go back and check. But I know that
12,
you mentioned to
14.
me that you had given me a list of
No, it
things.
wasn't a list. It was every time I was thinking, yes, and you need to do this, and you need to do this. And each phone call, had about 5 minutes in between it when I was just sitting out watching TV. And then I went, oh no, she could do this. That's all it was. It wasn't a list. It was
Okay.
a lot of phone calls, things that I recommended that you do. And I said, do that and save them for me because I'm going to want to help other people with this. So,
But what I have from what you said yesterday, I believe, was one way to do something to show the person, whoever the person is, that they're important in your life is to take them to the movies. to go to
Sure.
church,
Sure.
go out to eat,
Go have fun with them.
go
Now,
have fun,
yeah,
coffee. I
yeah,
put brunch,
yeah, anything.
anything.
But make your friends with them. And if it happens to be, if you're a woman and it's your daughter-in-law that you're having a hard time with, you're lucky because it's easier for you to go out. Although if it's your son-in-law and you're the grandmother, you can take your son-in-law out and say, I'm having a hard time, you know, with, and give him a problem in your life and say, can you help me solve this? I'm having a problem with my boss at work. Could you tell me what you think I ought to do? You can do that with your son-in-law or your daughter-in-law. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, go have lunch with them. Let them be the expert and help you solve something in your life. And need them. Folks, you may be angry with them and hate their guts, but you have to do this if you want your family back.
Yes, very
Lee
well.
knows.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
yep, and I've done it with other people. It's what you got to do.
yes.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
Lisa. I
that's
love
finding
you.
what?
I love you and all that wisdom. Wow. And the things you say, I know I've heard it before, but I guess it just helps me to hear it more each time.
Oh, yeah,
It helps me realize.
yeah. It's so important. Lee
Yes.
made the mistake of saying she was happy last week, and I went, what? You are not. She had decided to be happy. I went, that is, we ought to talk about that. But I went,
Might be another
you have
topic.
not decided anything right now.
Yeah.
And I was right. And
Yes.
I'd be happy to share that with you. Though I don't know that Lee wants to. It's okay.
Well,
Anyway,
listeners, watchers, write to us.
yeah.
The email address is its always about love, the number one at gmail.com. It will be listed in the comments below for you and in the description area for this YouTube video. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, remember, we love you. We do. And if you don't have anybody else that you can confide in and share your pain with, we're here for you.
Well, that's nice.
So I just want to say that because I was just thinking that today that, there's some people, it's getting close to the holidays and they have no one
Oh, she's
to
so
share
right.
with.
I'm so glad Lee's here. She is so right. You gotta, if you can't go to your families, you've got to find something to do on Thanksgiving.
And we'll be doing something
Churches
more about
have churches have meals. Go to a church. If you're in a 12-step program, go to a 12-step program and eat with them. Oh, don't be by yourself. You guys, do you see this light right here? Can you see what I'm pointing at, Lee?
yes.
My chandelier, my small chandelier, hasn't shone before because I haven't been sitting this close to the camera. It's pretty. And this is a chandelier lamp. Anyway, sorry, just looking at things here. Yeah, make sure that you have something to do on Thanksgiving. Go eat with other people. Go down to like a mission and help feed the poor.
Hmm.
Do something. Don't be by yourself. Sweethearts, do not be by yourself. They need you.
That's right.
Mhm.
And we're here. We're here. We want to listen to it. If you have something that you need to really talk about and share, just write us at that email address. And we will be back again tomorrow. So until then, Remember, we do care and we love you. So do you want to say goodnight, Lisa?
I want to say I love you. Love you, Lee, and I love everybody else. How could I not look at what we share with each other? The deepest, most awful thing in our world, each of us individually, share this with one another. And I'm going to say this, Lee. I was shocked that so many of the women who are evangelical Christians made a decision that I wasn't who I said I was and rejected me. How could you do that when when we share the same pain? I know your pain. You know my pain. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm putting
We're
in
all
those commercials.
together and we need to support one another.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, until tomorrow, good night, everyone. And we do love you. We're here to give you hope because we need hope. We want to give hope. So thank you for letting us be part of your lives tonight. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Good night.